right, it is Saturday and I'm going to spend the whole day reading and I'm pretty excited about it. I'm reading Bag of Bones. Bag of Bones is one of my top 5 Stephen King books. I believe it's very underrated. A lot of people don't like it, but it is pretty phenomenal. So I haven't read it in probably like 10 years, so I'm really excited to be rereading it. I'm about 90 pages in. We've got a whole day ahead of us just filled with reading. I just realized I forgot to tell you guys what Bag of Bones is even about. So basically Bag of Bones is about this author called Mike Noonan. He's pretty successful, kind of, always within the top 10 or just below the top 10 of the New York Times bestsellers list. And this happens in like the first chapter, so it's not a spoiler. His wife suddenly dies of a brain aneurysm and he is left to deal with his life without her. He finishes the book that he was working on at the time and then suddenly realizes that he can't write anymore. Like there's like huge writer's block to the point where anytime he goes near the computer, he has like a full-blown panic attack and like pukes and like freaks out. But luckily there's a couple of books that he wrote before that he hadn't sent to publishers, so he just starts sending those and pretending that they're brand new written books, and that buys him about 4 years. And then he realizes that he's given away his last book and he still can't write a day in his life, and he's still dealing with the grief of his wife passing. And so he decides to go to their summer home and try and, move forward in his grief and try and write another book. Obviously, it's a Stephen King book, so there's a lot more going on, but that's kind of the basic premise, is an author dealing with the death of his wife and seemingly the death of his creativity. What I've really been enjoying so far is him dealing with the anxiety of not being able to write, because I've been going through that for the past year now. So it's been interesting to kind of see myself in this book as well, know what that anxiety feels like when you go to write something and you're like, no, and just run away instead. There's a part where he says, did I want things to be all right again? Did I truly want that? The answer was yes, I wanted to move on. I think that's a really important part. A lot of people with severe anxiety, severe depression, weirdly enough, it's just how our brains work. They don't want to give up the depression, anxiety, even though they know that it's bad for them and they're miserable and their lives could be so much better. The depression and the anxiety has become almost like a comfort in its terror. And you have to really make that conscious decision to say, yeah, I want to move on. I don't want to have this crippling anxiety or this crippling depression. I want to make the steps to move forward and live with it instead of living in it. I thought that was a really important part and something that I could relate to, because it was only like 4 years ago, maybe 5, maybe 4, that I finally was like, I can't live like this anymore. I'm giving in. Did I want things to be all right again? The answer was yes. I wanted to move on. Just another reason why Stephen King is the best, because he puts everything perfectly into words that I clearly cannot put into as I'm stumbling through this review. Anyway, I'm gonna go read. treat ball. Okay, so our building is getting like massively renovated right now, and they're going to be redoing all of our windows and balconies and everything. But they have to come into our suite to measure the windows because we're getting window replacements too. But the problem is there's no room because I keep all my junk around the bed. So I'm going to organize it, right? So we don't cause a fire hazard for the construction workers who need to come in and measure this window. So it turns out it's daylight savings time. Had no idea, was very confused all day. But it is daylight savings time, so, you know, it means nothing. I have spent the whole day reading. I've got about 50 pages left of Bag of Bones. I forgot about a particular character death, and I cried a lot. Stephen King loves to kill my favorite character in every book of his that I've read. It's a talent that he possesses. Oh. Anyway, I'm going to walk the dogs, and then I'm going to finish Bag of Bones, hopefully, unless I get completely distracted, but I doubt it. So yay, Sunday, daylight savings time. It's Monday, new week, fresh start. I am hoping that this week won't be as crazy as last week, more of just a steady busyness instead of a busyness, if that makes sense. I finished Bag of Bones last night, and you know, what I really love is that obviously I started reading Stephen King when I was 11, and so I read pretty much all of his books that he had published up until that point by the time I was like 19. So from The books that I read from 11 to 19, whenever I reread them as an adult, it's kind of cool to see how I react to it and how I feel about it. There's been a lot of books that I didn't like as much when I was a teenager, but had a greater appreciation for as an adult. Dr. Sleep, that one reading at 30, I don't know, it became one of my favorite Stephen King books. It's incredible. Even though, you know, when I read it when it came out and I was like, yeah, it's all right, it's okay. But at 30, I was like, this is amazing. So what I'm rambling about and getting to is that reading Bag of Bones as a 31-year-old has been vastly different from reading it as a 19-year-old. You know, at 19, I'm like, oh, Maddie and Mike, cute relationship, scary ghosts. And as a 31-year-old who's seen some shit, you know, I absorb it a little bit differently. So it's definitely 100% still in my top 5 Stephen King books. It's absolutely incredible. I could see a lot more of myself in Mike this time. So overall, 5 out of 5, still in my top 5. Love it. I can't wait to talk to everyone about it in our book club at the end of the month. So next up is Annie and the Wolves. Because this is a library book, so I want to get back to the library as quick as I can because this is a brand new book. I'm the first one to read it, which is always exciting. That's why I always go through my library and put upcoming books on hold like 3 months in advance so I could be the first one to get them. But that also means there's a lot of people waiting for this and I don't want to keep them waiting. So I think I read like 2 pages last night before I fell asleep, but I'm gonna read this on my break today and read it tonight. So wish me luck for this week. Hopefully it's, you know, again, good busy, not crazy busy. I just realized I forgot to end the vlog, so vlog ended. See you guys in the next one.